there are some people who are new here for the first time. Let's give them a big welcome to all those new people. And of course, there are also assisting members or leaders that are here today. Welcome once again. And of course, today we are going to have a very special guest speaker with us. Okay, and the topic itself is actually called the synergistic of IM laser and CV8. Now, before I pass myself to the guest speaker or introduce the guest speaker as well, let me just share with you a little bit of things. I would like to just, give you a brief explanation of what is the two products that we are talking about today. Okay, just bear with me for a while. Let me share my screen. Basically the two products that I'm going to talk about, we are going to share with you is actually the products that is behind me. First of all, it is IM laser and of course CV8 as well. Now, let me just give you a brief introduction of what is IM laser all about. As everyone knows, IM laser stands for Integrative Medicine Laser. It is actually a household medical device. It is actually an integration of Western cold laser technology and together with Eastern acupuncture treatment and together with magnetic therapy as well. So it is actually a 3-in-1 household medical device. And of course, if you wear this IM laser itself, there is a lot of benefits by itself. Now, if you're just using IM laser, what you can expect is that number one, IM laser actually helps you to improve your blood circulation. Okay, the cold laser technology together with the magnetic therapy will give you the very good blood circulation. And of course, number two, it will help you to produce a lot of ATP energy. As you know, ATP energy plays a very important role in our body. Once your body contains a lot of ATP energy, all your cell will start to restore its own function, inclusive of self-growth, self-repair, as well as cell absorption. And number three, the benefits of using IM laser is that it will also help to activate your cell and organs function, improve or activate your cell and organs function. And of course, it also activates your stem cell as well. So these are actually the benefits. If you talk about IM laser, not only the cold laser is the one that will help you. Now, the acupuncture treatments in the cold laser will help you as well. What does the acupuncture usually do? It helps to stimulate the flow of qi energy in your meridians, balancing the yin and yang and strengthen the body condition. And acupuncture treatment has been very well known, for not only helping to cure your health issue, and it also helps to preserve your health condition as well. Now, IM laser itself is already a wonderful product. Now, in our company, we have another wonderful product which we call the CV8. Now, the CV8 is actually CV stands for cell vitality. What exactly is CV8? CV8 is actually an 80-year-old wild Korean ginseng stem cell super phytochemical essence formulated by CVMGR. And the main purpose of this is to provide you with all the nutrients, all the ginsenoside from the ginseng itself to help you to regain your youthfulness and also to improve your health condition as well. Okay, and the main 4 ingredients is actually this. Now, the CV8 itself actually contains 80-year-old wild ginseng stem cell CMC, and through this ginseng stem cell, we actually can extract a lot of this high valuable and rare ginsenoside, which is proven to have medicinal properties. And of course, other ingredient involved is actually cibatons, which provide 428 types of compounds which our body need. Arona, very strong, high antioxidants, and pomegranate as well. Okay, and of course, if you take this CV8 itself, okay, alone, Now, it actually helps to maintain your body at peak performance, help and fight and manage your chronic degeneration disease like heart problems, strokes, diabetes, and high blood pressure as well. Even it help improve your immune systems, improving your longevity, improve your memories, and even anti-aging, helps in anti-aging as well. That is why if you talk about these two products, individual itself, it's already have a lot of benefits. Okay, even if you just take one of them, it is enough to help you to improve your body condition. Now the next question is, now if you use IM laser together with CV8, what will be the effect? Will it be wasted? Because since they are doing almost the same thing, in actual fact, we have come to a conclusion. Now, if you use IM laser together with this CV8, not only it will not be wasted, but it will actually create the synergistic effect on healing and prevention of your health as well. That is why in explaining this, how actually does it works in creating the synergistic effect by this IM laser and CV8, we have a very special invited speaker that is going to share with you on this topic. Now, this special invited speaker, of course, he is not the first time that came over to our VOO meetings. I'm sure a lot of people are actually familiar with him. He is actually Dr. Ashvin. Now, for all those new people, if you do not know him, I'll give you a brief introduction on who is Dr. Ashvin. Okay, Dr. Ashvin is actually a senior medical doctor with more than 12 years of experience. Okay, he has served both government and private medical sectors in Penang. Besides his modern medical practice, Dr. Ashvin is very passionate about functional, preventive, and nutritional medicine. He is also a strong believer in naturopathic, antioxidants, and photobiomodulation therapy. It is notable that Dr. Ashvin is actually a well-known speaker in many community projects, even in health forums, even in medical conference as well. So basically, we have this special guest who is going to share with us the synergistic effect of IM laser and CV8. Ladies and gentlemen, by not wasting any more time, I will pass my talk to Dr. Ashvin. Okay, for the sake of welcome him, you all just say hi, in the message. Dr. Ashvin, are you there?
Okay, all good. How are you, Andrew?
Yeah, I'm all good. So
okay.
I will pass the whole talk to you now.
Okay, so thank you very much, Andrew, and good evening, everybody. So we have to get used to this concept of online meetings nowadays because of the COVID situation, which we're all hoping that will clear out quite fast, and hopefully a vaccine or some good forms of treatment can come out quickly. And for the time being, I think what we have is something very interesting with photobiomodulation therapy or low laser light therapy, as in IM laser, as well as the CV8 concept of stem cell therapy. So these are very, very good tools that can be beneficial to help in preventive medicine. Right now, I think the aim is like how we practice all these SOPs of washing our hands and wearing masks, and then avoiding crowded areas and things like that. We also have to practice certain measures that will help us to prevent getting viruses into our system or reducing our immune system. So at times like this, where there's a pandemic going on, improving our immune system is very vital. So we'll be coming to a little bit of an explanation on how this can help in COVID situations. But first, I'm going to give a general overview. I think Andrew has done a good job explaining about how the laser as well as the CV8, both they work individually. And I'm going to explain a little bit about how they work together. So we'll have a question and answer session after the talk. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask. Okay, so we're going to talk today about the synergistic benefits of Photobiomodulation Therapy, and ginseng stem cells. So photobiomodulation therapy, as we are familiar with, has been around for a long time. Now, the interesting part is that in our body, every part of our body is actually made up of these small cells. And inside each cell, the cell is the building block of the body. And inside each cell, there is a color receptor. It's called a phytochrome. So the phytochrome is actually the part of the cell that absorbs light. So photobiomodulation therapy is using light at a specific frequency, at a specific wavelength. The wavelength is around 650 nanometer. And this nanometer is supposed to be the most therapeutic range of spectrum of infrared, which actually will help to create change within the cell and outside the cell to make the cell healthier and make certain changes to the cell to make it more therapeutic. So the phytochrome of the cell is the part of the cell that absorbs the light, and that is the one that stimulates the production of ATP. ATP is basically our energy powerhouse in the body. All our cells have a part of the cell called the mitochondria, and the mitochondria is the part which contains all the energy. So the ATP is actually produced from the mitochondria, and there's something called cytochrome C. The cytochrome C is the one that is going to be absorbed by the mitochondria. So just picture how all these cells put together are absorbing light, and from that on, it's going to actually benefit from the cell to the tissue level, to the organ level, to the system level, and that accommodates the whole body. So the changes are actually on a cellular level, and this is very important because cellular medicine is the wave of the future. This is where medicine is heading towards: preventive medicine, cellular medicine, and working to improve the quality of the cell. So as it starts to regenerate these cells and improve the function of the cell, this is called cell proliferation, where the cell actually gets healthier and starts to increase in number in a healthy manner. In the case of cancer, the cells actually start to multiply, but they multiply in an unorganized fashion. So this is something that happens in an organized fashion. So ATP is such an interesting concept. Actually, it works on a mechanism which is quite complex. We learn in medical college. There's a cycle that works on how to produce ATP, and one molecule of ATP actually produces 8 times the number of ATPs at the end of the whole cycle. So that is something like a fantastic ROI or return, like better than any stock market can produce. So the ATP is actually the energy powerhouse of the cell. So this is a 3D example of how the mitochondria looks like, and it's similar to the ECU of a car, where it's the main component of where the energy from the cell comes from. So that's just a brief explanation. Now we're going to talk about wild ginseng. Wild ginseng has been around for many, many years, thousands of years, and wild ginseng contains ginsenosides. Ginsenosides are what is also known as saponins. Saponins are the active compounds of the ginseng. For example, RK1, RK2, RH2, RG2, RG3, RG5. These are all ginsenosides. And this particular CV8, they use the wild ginsenosides, which is very, very rare and hard to come by. And they contain the therapeutic ingredients, the medicinal properties that help to benefit many health conditions, from diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, aneurysms, from foot ulcers, erectile dysfunctions, and many other conditions. So ginseng also has another property apart from the ginsenosides. Ginseng is also an adaptogen. Adaptogen means something that balances out the immune function. If the immune function is low, the adaptogen will boost up the immune function. And if the immune function is too high, it will calm it down and stabilize it. So among all the adaptogens that we are familiar with, ginseng is supposedly the most strongest adaptogen currently known. So this will help to reduce stress. both internal stress that we face on a day-to-day level, on a physiological level, and also external stress from our environments around us. Example, pollution and from food and from noise and from all the external environments that stresses out. So this will create a reduced stress level within the body. So stress eventually causes damaging effects to the cells, and this accelerates the process of aging and disease. So the combination of both is a very effective combination. This is known as synergistic. The word synergistic means it is two things that work in combination in tandem together. So they work very effectively to make each function more effective than on its own. So photobiomodulation, as explained just now, has a particular technique of working. And while ginseng, on the other hand, has a particular technique of working. Now, when they are used hand in hand, they potentiate each other. Potentiate meaning that they help each other to be more beneficial. So together, they work again on a cellular level to improve the function of the cells in the body. So this makes the function of the cell more efficient to be carried out. So the task of the cell can be carried out more effectively. The cell has many different functions, from carrying oxygen to providing nutrients to transporting multi-micromolecules and amino acids. So these are just some of the many functions of the cells. So using these two technologies, the cell starts to vibrate at a particular frequency, and it starts to accommodate the ability to absorb nutrition at a higher level. Another thing that works is this combination helps to stimulate something called arginine. Arginine is something which is very important to us nowadays. Arginine actually works by increasing the oxygen capacity of the cell. So in our blood vessel, there's a layer called the endothelial layer. And that layer, when we get to our 30s, our 40s, our 50s, our 60s, every 10 years from the age of 30, the, the layer starts to get hardened. So it's what we term medically as a calcification or hardening of the arteries. So once the arteries start to harden, they are not spongy anymore, and they cannot be fluid to transport blood. Blood is very important because blood carries nutrition and blood carries oxygen. And these things are the ones that help the organs in the body to repair, recover, and heal better. So when the arteries start to harden up, they don't have this oxygen carrying capacity so efficiently. So by increasing the capacity of the intima media, which is the area in the blood vessel where it can get very loose and very spongy, this is actually done by arginine. And arginine also helps to produce nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is used in many drugs to increase oxygen to the body cells. So both ion laser as well as CV8, they help in increasing production of arginine, which in turn increases the production of nitric oxide. Basically, what this means is there's more oxygen going to the cells. And like you see how athletes nowadays, when athletes are taking part in competitions and then they happen to get an injury, the professional athletes, they go into these very expensive oxygen chambers where the oxygen chambers will work on their joints to repair and heal those joints so that they can recover much faster. So this is the same concept, using oxygen to help heal the body and repair the cells. So the other way it works is it reduces free radicals. So in all our cells, we have antioxidants on one hand, and we have free radicals on one hand. They are both kind of the opposite. The antioxidants are the very stable part of the cell that gives us a more younger appearance, gives us more health, and reduces the risk of disease. On the other hand, the free radicals are the ones that causes more damage, faster aging, increases the rate of disease, and makes people more unhealthy and more susceptible to heart disease, Alzheimer's, diabetes, and high blood pressure, among other diseases. So what the combination of both these do is they increase the antioxidant potential in the body of the cells of the body, and this makes the cells more vital, more youthful, and more healthier. So this reduces something called ROS. ROS stands for reactive oxidation species, which in other words is free radicals or the bad guys. So when the free radicals or the bad guys are less, then the good guys like the antioxidants will start to increase. So this causes a more balance within the cell. So as you can see here, every cell in our body, a combination of cells in our body will start to produce what we refer to as a tissue. And a combination of tissues start to produce an organ. An organ, for example, is like the liver, pancreas, spleen, stomach. And a combination of organs together is a system. For example, the urinary system consists of the kidneys, the ureter, the bladder. So they all work together in tandem. And a combination of systems is the human body. But if you see, the origin of all of this actually comes from the cell itself. So if the cell is healthy, this will lead to healthy tissues, healthy organs, healthy system, and in general, a healthier body. So I'm just going to give a few basic examples of some certain conditions that are quite common, that we see quite often, like Malaysia is quite number one in diabetes as far as Southeast Asia is concerned. 1 in every 4 to 5 Malaysians have a risk of having diabetes. So diabetes is actually a very common disease right now. But diabetes itself is not dangerous if it's very well managed and doesn't go into the stage of a diabetes with complications where the sugar is not so well managed. So the pancreas produces insulin, and this will help to stabilize the sugar metabolism in the body. So when we use both the combination of low-level laser as well as stem cell ginseng, then this helps to increase the sugar into the cell. So in the blood, the sugar level starts to go down, and this starts to stabilize the blood sugar level in the body. Then insulin can be transported out, and basically the diabetes starts to improve. The sugar levels start to improve. Now there's something called NK cells. NK cells are known as natural killer cells. It's a form of our immune system, part of the cells that are produced by our immune system. So the NK cells, the increase in number of NK cells means that it has an anti-tumor, a cancer-fighting ability. And this helps to start killing cancer cells. So the cancer cells start to die off, and this prevents the further spread of cancer. Cancer spreads very rapidly because of one cell influencing another cell and influencing another cell, and then they start rapidly spreading and taking over organs. So this is how cancer spreads. So once the NK cells start to get activated, they start causing the cancer cells to die off. It also works in another mechanism where it helps to cut off or reduce the blood supply to the cancer cells. Cancer cells are something like trees that have roots, and these roots are the blood supply that make the tree bigger and bigger. So once you cut off the blood supply by cutting off the roots, the cancer cell cannot survive, and then they die off. Also for cholesterol, cholesterol is a very common problem right now. Everyone enjoys their wonton and their kway teows, and all these oily fried foods have a lot of hidden cholesterol, hidden fats inside them. So it has an anti-cholesterol effect where it reduces the fat cells which store the triglycerides, and less triglycerides means the cholesterol levels start to go down. Now, stroke is also another fairly common problem. By reducing the area of the stroke, there's less stress in the brain and less inflammation in the brain. This protects the brain, and this improves the learning capacity, the memory capacity, and the patient with stroke has a faster chance of recovering and getting back on their feet. For high blood pressure, as explained earlier, the endothelial cells, they have nitric oxide, and this nitric oxide helps to increase the blood circulation. Once the circulation increases, then the blood pressure starts to go down. And many a time, patients have actually managed to reduce their medication and improve their blood pressure control. For heart disease, there are many different ways that it works together, but one of the main ways is that it works on the antioxidant effect. So once it works on the antioxidant effect, the heart starts to function better, And they've even done studies where they've used low-level laser therapies for patients who have MI or heart attack, myocardial infarction, and sometimes up to 50% of the dead heart cells have been regenerated back after using low-level laser therapy. So this is basically what is happening. We are exposed to excessive amounts of sunlight or radiation, pollution, smoking, all kinds of inflammation, air pollution, and all this starts to cause damage to the DNA. Now, another common factor that people experience is also lack of sleep. So this starts to cause formation of free radicals in the body, and they all start to affect the function of the mitochondria. So once the mitochondria is damaged, they have linked all these diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, cholesterol, stroke to mitochondrial dysfunction. That means the mitochondria is not functioning to its optimum capacity, and its ability to produce ATP, like in the younger days, is affected because mitochondria contains the DNA, and once the mitochondria is damaged, then the DNA function of the body is damaged. So that's when we sometimes blood tests are done to show the cell changes. And you can see from the cell changes after using low-level laser therapy or ion laser, and before and after, you can see the changes. So very importantly is that this combination is very, very safe. There's no risk of side effects, except for people who possibly have organ transplantations. They have to be more cautious. And people with actively ongoing malignancies or cancer have to be cautious. But apart from that, it is generally very safe to use. It's basically like consuming food, or standing outside in the sun, because the spectrum of the sunlight is also at the same time ginseng is a herb, so it's very safe, and it improves the effectiveness of the cell health and works together to improve the general health, reduce disease, and improve the quality of life. So thank you. So that's the presentation today. I would like to add a note on the benefits of how it can help for viruses. So nowadays we are exposed to all sorts of viruses. We have rhinoviruses, and which are the common cold viruses, and then we have influenza viruses, which they keep changing every 6 months to 1 year. And then now we have coronavirus. Coronavirus is a new pandemic which we've been experiencing since the beginning of this year. And all these viruses, basically, they attack the immune system. So in order to improve the immune function, the important thing is that we have to boost up our immune function. So the basic things that we can do is get some amount of sunlight, drink plenty of clean water, have a good diet, get sufficient amount of sleep, and at the same time, use devices like ion laser or low-level laser therapy, as well as stem cell ginseng like CV8, which can help to improve the cellular technology and prevent the formation of free radicals in the body, and also help to improve the benefit of the cells in our body. So it mainly works through the NK cells. Again, the NK cells, or the natural killer cells, have been linked to being able to fight conditions with contained viruses, including coronavirus. So this is an important point to note, that when you increase your natural killer cells in the body, you have a better fighting chance against viral diseases. Thank you.